They always apologize first. That's how we knew they were still us. Monsters don't feel the need to explain themselves. Monsters don't pause to find paper or struggle to spell. But these ones did. They'd stop 10 steps away, fingers twitching, jaws chattering, eyes wet and unfocused. Then, they would kneel, rummage through pockets, backpacks, broken drawers, even their own torn clothes, and pull out whatever they could write on receipts, photographs, walls, their own skin. And they would write an apology every single time. Before the attack, at first, we thought it was a coincidence, a fluke, something psychological left over from the people they once were. But after the third incident, after the fourth, after the video spread and the notes were collected and compared, we realized it was a rule, as consistent as hunger, as universal as death, because every note said the same thing in 1,000 different ways. I'm sorry. That discovery broke us faster than the bites ever did. You can fight fear, but guilt gets inside you. How do you shoot something that's apologizing to you? How do you run when the last thing you hear is regret? The first time I saw one write, I didn't even know what was happening. I just saw a woman in a blood-stained cardigan stop in the middle of the street. Her shoulders slumped, like she'd remembered something important. Her hands shook as she pulled a pen from behind her ear, still behind her ear, like muscle memory had survived death. She knelt right there, right in front of me, close enough that I could smell the iron and rot, as she wrote on the back of a grocery list, slow and careful, her tongue between her teeth. When she held it up, my hands wouldn't move. The paper said, "I don't want to hurt you, but I can't stop." And then she attacked, fast and brutal. I barely escaped. For days after that, I couldn't sleep, not because of the violence, but because of the handwriting. It looked like my mother's, like something written at a kitchen table with a cup of tea nearby. It was neat, apologetic, human. Soon, the world was drowning in notes, entire walls covered in them, messages scrawled on doors and sidewalks, stacked in the pockets of the dead, apologies for biting, for scratching, for killing, for failing, for existing like this. People started collecting them like evidence, like proof that maybe if we understood why they apologized, we could fix it. Maybe it meant the person inside was still alive somewhere, trapped and begging for forgiveness. That hope was poison. Hope made people hesitate, and hesitation got people killed. Because the zombies learned, too. They learned the apology bought them time. That humans read before they shoot. That word slow bullets better than armor. So the notes got longer, more detailed, more personal. They had access to our lives, now our names, our photos, our social media. And they would apologize specifically, cruelly, kindly, using your name, referencing your family, writing things like, "I'm sorry, Daniel, your sister talked about you all the time," or, "I know you don't deserve this." The worst part was that sometimes they were telling the truth. The handwriting matched old letters. The memories were accurate. The apologies felt sincere. And sincerity is harder to kill than rage. Governments collapsed trying to explain it. Religions fractured trying to justify it. Scientists argued over whether it was a neurological loop or some moral reflex baked into the human brain. No matter what we did, the behavior persisted. When we tried to remove their hands, they wrote with their mouths, with their toes, with blood, with broken glass. Because the apology wasn't optional. It was compulsory. Like breathing, like hunger, like the last piece of humanity refusing to die quietly. I ended up in a settlement where we tried to make rules about it, to protect ourselves from our own compassion. Rules like don't read the note, shoot on sight, eyes up. Those rules worked for a while, until someone broke one, because someone always breaks one. Curiosity is stronger than discipline. That's how we lost the West Wall. A man named Louis saw a child zombie holding a crayon, scribbling on a piece of cardboard. He stopped, because a child writing an apology looked like forgiveness, and forgiveness feels like hope, and hope is deadly. The note said, "I'm sorry, I'm scared," and Louis cried, and while he cried, it lunged. After that, we burned all writing supplies we could find, books, paper, pens, chalk, anything that could hold words. For a brief, stupid moment, we thought we'd solved it, until the apologies started appearing scratched into concrete, carved into wood, written in blood on skin. You can't burn language out of people, not even dead ones. Then the notes changed. They evolved. At first, they apologized for the attack, but later, they apologized for the effect, for the trauma, the guilt, the nightmares we'd have after. Notes like, "I'm sorry this will stay with you," or "I am sorry you'll think of this every time you close your eyes." That's when we realized something was wrong in a deeper way. Remorse requires understanding consequences. Understanding consequences requires awareness, and awareness means they weren't just reflexes. They were thinking, and that led to the worst theory of all, the one nobody wanted to say out loud, the idea that the apology wasn't for us, but for themselves. That somewhere inside, the person was still watching, still forced to feel regret every single time their body killed someone, still compelled to say sorry because it was the only thing they could control. And if that was true, then killing them wasn't mercy, it was silencing. That thought destroyed more people than bites ever did. Some survivors started letting themselves get attacked on purpose, convinced they were freeing the person inside. They died smiling, holding notes to their chests like letters from loved ones. The rest of us had to live with that, live with the idea that we were choosing ourselves over them, over everyone trapped in those bodies. Then came the day the apologies stopped being handwritten and started being spoken. Yes, they learned to talk, not clearly, not loudly, but enough to whisper, "I'm sorry," over and over while they wrote. Enough to choke out names, to say things like, "Please forgive me." If you think reading an apology is hard, try hearing one. Try hearing it in a voice you recognize. Try hearing it right before teeth tear into you. That's when the last safe places fell. Walls don't stop words. Survivors began wearing headphones, blasting static, trying to drown it out. Hearing sorry enough times rewires you. Apologies are supposed to end violence, not precede it. The human brain can't reconcile that contradiction without breaking. And I broke too. Eventually, everyone does. There's only so many times you can step over notes without reading them. I broke when I found one addressed to me, written neatly on a page torn from my own journal. The note said, "I'm sorry, I won't remember you after this." That sentence stopped me cold. It implied memory loss, that after the attack, something resets, something erases the remorse, trapping them in a loop of killing and apologizing without resolution. No learning, no progress, just endless regret on repeat. That's when I realized the true horror wasn't that they apologized. It was that the apology didn't change anything. It didn't absolve them, didn't save us, didn't stop the violence. It just added suffering to suffering, like a moral tax on death. Now, as I sit in what used to be a library, with all the books burned for warmth, with the walls carved full of "I'm sorry" in 1,000 hands, I hear footsteps outside, slow, deliberate. I know what's coming. The scratching has started. The pause always comes before the apology. They never rush this part. I don't know if I'll read the note this time. I don't know if I'll listen. I don't know if forgiveness matters when it's forced, when it's automatic, when it comes from a mouth that can't choose anything else. But I do know this, when the end comes, it won't be with a scream, it will be with an apology, and that, somehow, makes it worse. Thanks for listening. If this story stuck with you, consider subscribing for more.